Hello, welcome to Intention Ascension. I want to talk a little bit about what it means to survive chaos. And chaos isn't just brought to us for no reason. It's brought to us with purpose, with lessons, and it can be super annoying because obviously chaos is stressful. High chaos, high stress, lots of distortion, not knowing what's going on. And these are opportunities for us to be able to push forward and to recognize what it is that we're doing in that moment. How are we handling ourselves? Are we riding the wave or are we allowing the wave to ride us? Because when we allow the wave to ride us, it's never pretty. We always end up like replaying those days in our head. I shouldn't have popped off like that. I shouldn't have snapped at this person. I should have said this way instead of that way. And then we find ourselves making excuses for our behavior to the people around us instead of taking accountability for the fact that we don't have control over some things, but we do have control over our reactions. So I recognize now that chaos has brought me many different lessons. So first it was learning, how do I calm myself? How do I um okay, so I'll give you guys a little replay of this one time when I walked in on my boss a few years ago. And not my current boss, it's a previous boss. But when I walked in on her a few years ago, she had papers spread all over the desk. Her cell phone was vibrating. I could see Teams was running up a whole list of people, like popping in messages. She was on a call, and I've never seen her office like this before. And I just walk in and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. I just about walked right out. And she looked up at me and she said, how can I help you? And like with a smile on her face, and everything was genuine. It wasn't like, hi, how can I help you? Which I wouldn't have blamed her if she did, right? And so I'm about to walk out of the office and she says that to me. And I was just in that moment, like I capture that moment like a picture. And I'm like, whoa, I would love to be like her one day. I would love to be able to walk into the middle of a room with all this riffraff happening, and or I'd be in the middle of the room with all this riffraff happening and then genuinely look up at someone and be like, hi, like, how can I help you? And so when I look at all the different lessons that I've received from chaos, one was that I was once functional in it and I truly enjoyed it. Like I thrived off of it. Things were boring without it, which I realized, whew, that is not the case. And so I had to unwire that thought pattern first. And then when I was in chaos again, it was about organization. And so I find myself in spurts of different types of chaos. And so the second time I was in chaos, it was about organization. It was about planning. It was about being able to be prepared. And I was working in a kitchen at that time. And so there were a lot of things that needed to be done, things that needed to be organized. I needed to pay attention to detail and I needed to do it quickly. We had a lot of bodies moving around. I was living in a really hot place at the time. I was in the kitchen. It was the middle of summer. I'd be like hiding in the freezer. And it was just like one thing after another until those doors shut. And then, of course, clean up, which was a little bit easier. And then, I've been in really stressful chaos where it's like there are, I always say this without like saying too much. There will be a lot of things that are high priority and I guess like not a lot of back checking, but a lot of trouble that you could possibly get into in an office. So yeah, like not having a lot of support, but being able to get into a lot of trouble, things having to be in like time stamped at certain specific days and times, things that could be audited by the state, documentation that had to be done. I mean, even working with medications previously, I mean, everything down to the detail. And then you leave and you're like emotionally drained or physically drained, depending on what type of chaos you're in. And then there is the spiritual chaos. And so this is really a test of being able to use our discernment. And when we go into this lesson, I have found it personally to be my final, well, okay, I shouldn't say that. But I'm hoping it's like my final of my chaos, whereas I can use all these other periods in my life that have shaped me and transformed me during those times. Because when we're talking chaos, we're talking like energetic tornadoes happening, and different things are all happening at once, and many different things can go wrong, from counting medication to flipping cheeseburgers. We have our moments of chaos. And so, like I had said, different types of chaos, different environments bring different lessons. And with this one, which I am truly hoping it's not going to be my last time in chaos, I'm hoping it's my last lesson in chaos, and that hopefully there just aren't any more, because I feel like at this point in time, I've got a fairly good grasp on it. I'm still human. It doesn't mean that I don't just get like, oh God, here we go. Like, here we go. It's another day. I can do this. Everything's going to be okay. I'm just going to take some deep breaths before I go in. Like, whatever the case may be, wherever it is that you work, I'm sure that more than one of you resonate with that before entering into your workspace. And I really have to give it out to the people who are working in constant stress environments, ERs, hospitals, detox centers, hospice, any of those that are just really high volume, high stress, dealing with a lot, teachers, all of you guys. I mean, everybody, really. I was out here for everybody. I love you all. And I wish that we had more manageable chaos rather than the, ugh, didn't even notice that happened kind of chaos. Hi, Bubby. Um, So with this last one, it's really I'm gonna continue saying this last one, and maybe it will be, or it will be a spiritual chaos, and that is being able to use our discernment, because what we're recognizing is that the chaos that's happening around us is still our teacher, but which areas do we put our time and our energy and our attention into? Who are we putting our time, our energy, and our attention into? And this is not to put you in a situation where you're picking and choosing who you are talking to in your work zone or wherever your chaos is present. Maybe it's with a big family or something. But to be able to use your discernment to recognize when something is truly just there to take you off course. When you have something that is in your path and in your presence on a daily basis that isn't necessarily there to actually teach you anything, but to distract you. So I just wanted to put this video out because I was thinking about it earlier and realized that there are so many different types of chaos that have led me into different places in my life. And I promise you guys that the chaos isn't forever. So really enjoy those low moments in your life. Like if you go from having a crazy busy schedule to where it's like nothing's happening and you feel like you're bored and you need to be doing something, you're not being productive with your time, but you're normally productive, then it is absolutely the time to just tune in and focus on that self-care, because I promise you that chaos is coming back in some form of fashion or another. All right. I love you guys.